Dmitry Bivol, massive fight. How has this managed to come around for you?
Well, the fight that we was interested in looking at in the near future, maybe about a year and a half, 2 years ago, we thought we'd take one more fight, whether it would have been fringe level, European or something like that, and then push on to a fight like this. Of course, the British title fight came along. Good opponent, 14-0. We got him out there and we stuck to the plan. One more and then him. We asked steady if he can make the fight happen. You know, he messaged back saying, "Call blind me." And then before you know it, it all unraveled and we're here now.
You know, and arguably, I think from the outside looking in and to the average, armchair fan, and I appreciate that includes me a lot of the time as well, this is a massive step up. You know, arguably looking at the guys that you fought before, you've only ever fought fighters that are at British level. You know, I take my hat off you for taking this, but obviously you're not going to have taken this fight if you don't think there's the possibility of you winning it. What have you seen in Dmitry Bivol that you think there's the potential that you can exploit?
Look, he's just a boxer, just like everyone else. You don't get to world level and gain superpowers. You're good at your job. You beat the guys you put in front of you, and you got to where you got to. How do you become champion? At some point, you have to step up and challenge the champion, and someone has to win. I could sit at domestic level forever and say, well, I beat these guys at domestic, so I might as well just keep beating these guys at domestic. So when do you take a step up? You know, I've beaten guys 14-0, 12-0, 10-0, 12-1. Like, when's it time to move up to the guys 17-0? You've done 14-0, 12-0. You need to step up at some point, and this was my time. I feel like I'm more than ready. I feel like I'm a developed fighter. I'm improving all the time. It's showing in the gym. It's showing in my performance, like my last performance, etc. And I just feel like this is my time, and I believe that I've got the tools to beat him.
Listen, you know, that's a fantastic analogy. I can't sit there and disagree with anything that you've said there. I suppose my last question to that is that obviously, again, you know, in big fight, massive fight, world title fight, have you had to change any elements of your camp, how you prepared for this, or have you just gone about your business as usual?
Yeah, I've definitely trained, sir. I've definitely trained a lot. Like, it's not even so much train harder, because I always train very well, but it's just about being more professional about the camp this time, is in terms of resting and stuff like that, and food, and just, you know, like being more diligent in your training, like a bit more professional routine, make sure that everything's done around the training also, you know, switching off to your outside day-to-day life, everything really. And I think I've just took it more professional, and the results have been shown in my training camp.
Chris, it's been absolutely fantastic to speak to you. My blessings are all with you, and I'll be ecstatic if you can win on Saturday, buddy.
Thank you. I'll get the job done.
Okay, thanks, Brett. If we go to Andy from Boxing Social next, please.
Hi, mate. How you doing?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
I'm good. How does it feel to be back in the fight bubble?
It feels good, you know, but this time, obviously, the bubble's a little nicer. It's a little nicer this time.
Craig, obviously, you know, your hardest test of your career so far. How has this camp fared in comparison to your previous ones? Have you felt yourself giving that extra bit more during camp in every session, pushing yourself a bit harder than what you have previously?
I feel like I always push hard, but the results of my numbers and stuff was better this camp. So it's increased. It showed that I was performing better in camp. I was feeling stronger in camp. And I think I've taken things more professional, more diligent for this camp.
What do you feel you're going to pose for Dmitry to kind of have to look to overcome? What threats do you feel he'll have to adjust to and be wary of with regards to yourself that he may not have had to come up against previously?
In hindsight, you look at the previous guys he's fought, which are all good world level fighters. You know, he's fought a few guys, but look what the stuff I possess to the ring. So it's time I bring that to the world level. I've got a good jab, I've got good movement, I can punch, I can box, I've got a good chin. I'm clever, I've got a good IQ, and I believe I've got a lot of things that I've got a lot of things in the package that I'm not sure a lot of the other fighters have.
What do you make of people who currently see you as not just a heavy underdog, but some people just think Dmitry will win with comfort and with ease on Saturday? For those ones who haven't backed you as much as what you and your team will, what do you make of it?
Nothing. They done this to me, man. They ripped me off on the Jake Ball, said he's going to be too big, too strong, he's going to walk through me. I'm really a super middleweight. I dealt with that. I dealt with them, and I dealt with that. Shakan Peters, he's going to be too awkward. He's big. He's 6'7". I've got no chance he's going to box my head off. I dealt with that, got him out of there. It's nothing I have not faced before, and it's nothing I'll approach the same situation with the same belief and go and get the job done.
I know you won't want to look past Saturday, Craig, but has it been hard not to think about how life-changing a win for you could be?
Yeah, I feel like when I think about that, it's not really looking past him. I feel like I look and just realize how important it is to get the win, more than thinking about what's going to happen in the future. I'm more thinking how important, how this could change my life, and how I need to grab this with two hands.
Obviously, at the minute as well, that the gym where you're training at, the Matchroom Gym's had some brilliant wins recently. Are you feeling any added pressure to kind of live up to what everybody else has done recently?
Of course I have. Of course I have. Since the last summer, everyone's win. And I had the pressure from me December, and I went and got the win. Ryder got the win. Then they will come back, and Ted's gone, and Felix has gone again, and it's like, your turn. Oh, shit. So, yeah, it's obviously pressure. You don't want to let the gym down. You know, we're all training very hard, and we're buzzing right now. Obviously, I've got a very big task ahead of me, but I'm ready for it.
All right, Craig, best of luck on Saturday.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Andy. If we go to Wingy Boxing next week.
Craig, what's going on, brother? How are you?
What's going on? How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I heard you on the podcast. You just sound happy. Previous podcast, you sound happy, relaxed, chilled. Where is your mind at right now at this stage? It's different for every fighter. That's why I always like to ask that question.
Oh, my mind's in the best place it could be right now. I'm feeling very positive, energetic, positive about this. I feel like I'm very relaxed and happy because when you know you've done the work, there's no more you could do. You're very confident when you go in there. And I think this camp, I really feel like I put the work in, and I feel good. Even like usually on fight week, you feel a little bit flat, and you just can't wait to get the weigh-in done, and then you respawn for fight night. But this week, I'm buzzing from fight week. I could, if someone knocked my room door now and said, look, fight's been moved forward to tonight, I'm ready to grab my shorts and go in. So I'm just in a good place. I'm ready to fight.
Do you study hard a fighter like Bivol, like every aspect of it, of him, or do you go in there and be the best version of you, as you just said? Because again, fighters answer that differently. Like, yeah. Are you so confident in your own style? You're like, well, I'm just going to go in there and do what I do and leave the studying to the coach sort of thing, or?
No, he'll study, he'll tick up tips. I'll have a look as well. And we'll really look at the tasks we have in hand. I do that with every fighter, whether it was for the British, whether it's for the WBA Continental. I'll look over these guys, I'll study them, watch them, and I know what I need to bring to the table, and then I'll go and camp and get prepared for that. And it's the same thing, no different for Dmitry Bivol.
And what do you do now between now and fight? Are you sort of tapering down a little bit, go easy with the
the hard work's done now. The hard work's done. If you're trying to get fit now, then you ain't ready. If you're trying to get fit now, you ain't ready. I'm fit. I'm ready to go now. Now I'm just ticking over really and just keeping the body active till the night.
Cool. I'll let the others jump in. Thank you for giving me your time, brother.
No problem, brother.
Thanks, Wingy. If we go to James Lupton next.
Right, how you doing, mate?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, very good, mate. Very good. Obviously, yeah, I got you, mate. Yeah, I got you. Obviously, biggest fight of your career, biggest fighter you've ever faced. You've not been at that level yet. Does that make you an unknown quantity and therefore more dangerous to Bivol?
Yeah, of course. You've got to come up at that level at some point, and when you do, you're gonna want it bad, ain't you? Because it's your time. So it's everything to me. It's another fight to him. So of course, I'm a dangerous fighter.
Also, when I look at the division, especially in the country as well in Britain, Cannon Johnson returned recently. Lyndon Arthur elevated to the #1 for the WBO. Thriving at the minute in Britain at 175. How exciting is it to be a part of it?
Yeah, it's good. But I feel like I've had the hardest tests and I've passed with flying colours more than anyone else. And I was happy to be at the domestic level. I felt like I cleared up 14-0, 12-0, 10-0, 12-1. I cleared that scene up and I want to push on to the world level now. So I don't really think too much of the domestic scene. I'm more focused on my career, and I believe my career now is past the domestic scene and thinking about world honours.
You mentioned earlier you've been the underdog on numerous occasions. How much do you love that title, the underdog?
I love it because I love when people write me off. Yeah, even from my southern area, I was written off, got the win. Jake Ball, everyone completely ripped me off, got the win. They ripped me off against Shaq and Pitters. I got the win. So it's what I do, the underdog. I like to put the spanner in the works.
How highly do you rate Bivol? Obviously, world champion, very good fighter. And is there a danger that you could show him too much respect in the ring?
I won't be showing him too much respect, that's for sure. He's a very good fighter. He's not a world champion for no reason. You don't get that. They don't hand them titles out and get to make that many defenses of it. So I'm not deluded to who he is, but I know I'm prepared and I know who I am, and there won't be too much respect. It was just me gonna win and crown myself as the champion.
Top man, all the best. Speak to you soon, mate.
Thank you.
Thanks, James. If we go to Ames next, please.
Ames here from Boxing News TV. Pleasure to speak to you, Craig. Craig, how hard was this? Was it to keep this fight under wraps before you could announce it?
It was very hard. That's a very good question. It was very hard. I was buzzing. I couldn't believe it, and I just had to keep it under wraps till everyone got to announce it, till the show was announced by Eddie and Matchroom Boxing.
I remember when you spoke to my colleague Mel in an interview, and you were saying that you didn't rate Bivol as highly as people were putting up as like in the likes of like Bivol and Beterbiev. You didn't rate him that highly. Can you elaborate on why you think Bivol isn't at the level of like a Beterbiev?
I do believe he's at the level of a Beterbiev. I just believe he possesses different stuff than Beterbiev. I believe like he's worked good with his feet, he's got good hand speed, and he likes throwing bunches. Where I believe that Beterbiev is more like the one-punch KO artist more than out the two of them. So they're just different styles. They're both world level and they're both good fighters. I just believe they possess different stuff in the ring. And I believe that when people mention all of these champions, they put them all in the one same bracket as the same person, when they're not the same person. They're just like, oh, all of them are beasts and they all do this. They don't all do nothing the same. And that's what I meant. I just thought, take everyone as an individual. And I kind of used to do that before I studied Bivol and studied Beterbiev, as I started moving up the world rankings and said, you know what, rather than watching highlights of these guys and going by what everyone tells me about them, let me actually sit down and watch fights of these. And since I've done that, I've noticed that these guys are just they're not what people have been basically painting them to be, these big, indestructible monsters.
So with that said, you asked Eddie Hearn after the Shakan Pitts fight if you could get Bivol. Had you had your eyes on Bivol for a while then?
Yeah.
And given the levels of where you both are at now, how big of an achievement is the outcome of you winning the title at the weekend?
It's massive because it'll be one of the biggest wins and biggest upset for British boxing, I think. So it's massive that I go out there and get the job done. I believe that a lot of people are not going to believe that I can get the job done. A lot of people are going to write me off again. The other fights, I didn't understand why I was being written off. Obviously, Jake Ball, he had a high knockout percentage and he was southpaw, he's awkward, he could punch. I can understand why I was the underdog. The Pitters fight, I didn't understand why I was the underdog, but so be it. Everyone said he's this boxer who just boxed your head off, 6'7", whatever. Cool. But the Bivol fight, again, I understand why I'm the underdog based on his CV and who he's fought, and he's a world champion. So, yeah.
Finally, from me, what's the feeling going to be like? Can you preempt that feeling if you are at the end of the night holding that world title in your hands, looking at it and holding it up aloft? What's that feeling going to be like for you?
It's going to be amazing. It's going to be like dream come true. You know, I got into boxing to become world champion, didn't I? And it's just like here now. It's still surreal that I'm fighting for the world title. You know, it's like your aims and dreams. And you think, oh, I hope one day I get there. You know, and you're grinding through all these years. I literally started at the bottom, fighting for a Southern area, winning that WBA Continental, got myself in world rankings, British. I've literally come through the hard way, step by step, beating unbeaten fighters. And now it's like all that hard work's paid off, and it's like you're so like taken back. You don't want to make the mistake because it was so hard to get here. So it's not. I should be more excited and more like enjoying the occasion, but really, I just really don't want to get it wrong, and I'm more like want to make sure I take my opportunity with both hands.